Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vulnerability Weekly. This week, we focus on a lot of news. There is a lot of updates from an application security perspective and an infrastructure perspective. So without further ado, let's dive in. So from an application security perspective, we had two major issues this week. The Apache Common library, that is another library from Apache, vulnerable to a remote code execution similar to the log4j issue that we saw recently this year that's caused havoc in the industry. And is quite easy to configure, but the good news is that there is already a version available on the Java files that can be updated, and we'll cover that later. OPENSSL, that previously in the years, several years ago, almost about 12 years ago nowadays, has caused a heartbleed issue. Now it's vulnerable again with a version that likely enough has a patch available, so please update the OPENSSL. Now this can have repercussions because a lot of vendors use OPENSSL as a main vector to allow SSL connection or VPN connection. So please be very aware of the CISA recommendation in the new vulnerability and new third party. Now, on the application security perspective and NPM package, we saw NPM being affected by both a technique of attack for exploitation and crypto mining of a number of NPM package, and the threat actor CuteBoi being disclosing which one of the packages actually used by exfiltration or crypto mining. And there are quite a lot. So the security researcher from Checkmarks have disclosed around 1,170 different NPM packages that were affected. Certain affected, certain are not. But definitely something to be wary of. NPM as well has been affected by another set of vulnerability called Iconburst from one of the packages that was recently affected. That is both a name spotting, where a package with the same name take the same take presence in the store, but also been quite effectively removed, versus the more sophisticated one that Iconburst and few other packages that we will cover later replace fundamentally the front end of the website of a legitimate package towards a package that is non-legitimate, any particular website that is not legitimate. From an infrastructure perspective, we saw Cisco releasing and Fortinet releasing update on their firewalls and their appliance, Google releasing updates on the 4th of July, and happy 4th of July for all the American friends. Google has released for Chrome an updated version because of a bug, or several bugs actually, for the WebRTC. It is a vulnerable version or the module that's in Google Chrome manage real-time audio. Follina has been covered, and we covered extensively in the news, has been recently used to weaponize and deploy ransomware. This time has been used to actually as a weapon or as a weaponization channel to deploy vector on Windows machine. And last but not last, we're going to cover Orbit malware. That is a new stream of process swapping or process symbiotic on Linux malware. Without further ado, though, let's dive in. So as always, we update the page on security vulnerability of the week, and you can see all the other episodes. So if you haven't commented or looked, let us know what you think. Now, as I mentioned, Apache Common have released the 33980 with already vulnerable version. So you can try executing the command, this command to actually see if the specific version you have available is vulnerable. 2.4 version all the way to 2.7 is vulnerable, and the 2.8 is the one patch. Now, the remote code execution is quite easy because, unfortunately, the configuration item that get called by the commons could be affected by a piece of code inside the configuration element, and hence will be trapping that module. So please update to commons 2.8 and above. This is the 2.8, is the most recent version. On OpenSSL, we saw several years ago heartbleed causing havoc on the web, and OpenSSL is a very, very widely used library for giving access to encrypted access as a VPN, as an SSL connection. So recently, a researcher, Xiao Royao, a PhD student from this university, has been credited with an OpenSSL bug on back in June, and OpenSSL has released an updated version of the software 3.05. Now, this particular vulnerability affects a specific instance when you use a specific key, specifically RSA 2048 bits. Hence, is a little bit more precise or case-by-case scenario. So it's not that widely affecting the widely number of SSL installations. Now, NPM package have been on the eye of the storm of recently with the type of squatting, where package fundamentally were replicating other package and being malicious. In this particular case, the actor or the threat actor CuteBoi have released a number of vulnerable package that are consistently updated and re-updated with what has been disclosed, and it's almost as a form of marketing. So a security researcher of Checkpoint have released this vulnerability and has disclosed and researched this vulnerability that fundamentally exfiltrate data through the use of this particular service, mail service. So please keep monitoring the mail.tm or similar kind of odd email communication out or communication out from the package. And Hacker News have done some research in the past, together with the Israeli company Checkmarks, on Lily that had similar behavior. So this technique of either squatting or exfiltrating data by infecting packages and supply chain packages has been more and more in the eye of the storm and in the attacker focus. Iconburst is another stream of vulnerability that affect NPM package. In this particular case is an NPM package called Iconburst, and hence the name of the attack, where the icon package that was particularly downloaded, or these other packages have been affected by vulnerability, like replacement of front end or DNS hijacking, where fundamentally legitimate web pages produced by the libraries were replaced with lookalike of the website to capture data and to capture credentials. So if you have any of these or the one link to the blog post, please go and update. There is plenty of research and library on the versing blog. So thank you for doing this research. And as always, we give credit. Now, Chrome has released a cumulative patch and has been recently affected by CV 2294 that affected one of their web video components. So if you have one of those, if you have Chrome, please go and update to the latest version that we can see here. Follina as well has been heavily covered by us, and they're the news outlet from an attacker perspective. And of recently, we discover more deployment. Usually, Follina has been used to deploy ransomware attack and ransomware malware inside machine. In this particular case, Follina has been used to deploy vector, and specifically Rosina vector on those systems. So we're seeing more and more the use of Follina as an attack vector, and Microsoft has recently released an issue around and a workaround around Follina. So please go and update or disable micro whenever you can. Now, last but not last, we're going to cover security orbit. That is a vulnerability affecting Linux, and is a bit of a particular vulnerability because it's an implant that go and attack from a kernel perspective different other libraries. And even if you don't, even if the vulnerability is not loaded in the memory, maintain presence in the system. So the particularly new vulnerability and attack method that has been seen as originally called Symbionte, that you can see some more research on the website. So I hope today was useful to get an overview of the latest vulnerability affecting worldwide, and that being affected systems specifically last week. As always, it's my pleasure to share information and knowledge. If you want to know more, or if you want to have a different format, please subscribe and give us a feedback, positive, negative, what we can improve, what we can't improve in the comment. We really appreciate any of your feedback. And I hope this was useful. I hope you gained some more knowledge. I hope you already have patched all the vulnerability that I mentioned, and you've seen this in the wild, but you haven't. I hope this was informational for you, and you gain some more vulnerability to look at in a quick way. My name is Francesco, and I'm the host for Vulnerability Weekly. I wish you all to stay safe, to update your system. And goodbye.